Long time, right? Huh? Never? All right, here we go. Let's start something then. All right, questions, go ahead. You guys got a bunch. Then don't everybody start at the same time. I'm not going to make a statement because I know, Chip, you're going to make my statement for me with your first question, so I'm listening.
How much has Jalen Brady?
No. Chip's first. Chip gets to go first.
Just to look at the Duke game, the biggest challenges you face this team. Obviously, they played well in their last game after a poor game they came back.
Yeah, Chip, they got great size. They do a good job. They're playing a lot of people. I think when you look at the Wake Forest game, they had two guys who were out for whatever reason. I think, some type of, sickness. But they have great depth, and what they've been able to do is they've got a two-headed monster at the 5 position, and then they can go too deep at every position. And what's happening is now that they've got veteran guys that are playing with the young guys, and on some given nights, the young guys are better because they're young and don't know what they don't supposed to know. But, thus far, I think the older guys have been carrying them a lot. So it's a good team. They can get out in transition. They're long, they're athletic, they can defend you. And that's what, that's the biggest concern going into it. They've got great size. We're not going to play against many teams that front court's got a 6'7" small forward and 2 7-footers at the 4 and 5. It just doesn't happen that way.
Schematically, are they any different under Shire? Is it more the same in terms of what they do?
I think he runs a little bit more sets than maybe Coach K, but that's just, I haven't played against him. That's probably a question that, we can be asked, after I've played a couple games that we got to play against them. But, they're still the same talent, and that's what makes a difference. They're, if you look at them, they're one of the rosters, they have one of the most talented rosters in the country, and, a lot of those guys you will see playing, soon in the NBA.
Kevin, they have a lot of ability to play a lot of different lineups. They were talking about that earlier today, even for some of their players, it's been kind of a learning process of their roles that can change depending on the lineup they put out. How difficult is it to prepare in the sense that they seem like they have a lot of pivots they can make with a lot of
Yeah, it's different because, I think because of some guys being out, they have been able to experiment with a lot of different lineups, and it's actually worked for them. And so it's got a lot of guys, a lot of experience in different situations. For us, we're concentrating more on the basics and what we need to do, and try to go over as many things as we can go over. We don't know who's going to start. We just know that at some point we think that they're going to play 9 to 10 guys at some point.
How much has Jalen Blake's changed what they do?
Well, he's making shots. Early in the year, I was able to catch a couple games, and they didn't shoot the ball well. And when you look at what he did against Wake Forest and making shots, it completely changes them. It gives them 2 guards that, obviously Jeremy Roach has been around for a long time and done a great job. But when you add him beside him and the way he's playing, it gives them another dimension. And quite frankly, it gives you an older guy that's been around and knows how to play a little bit.
How do you think you guys have adjusted since Hassan's injury of, figuring out what you guys are going to look like without him?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and here's why. We thought we had it figured out. We were fortunate enough to be able to play 2 centers, completely different guys. Dushan was a guy who I think averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds. We never ran a play for him. He was a guy that would just run the floor. He would set great screens. He would rim run, get offensive rebounds. And then we would bring DJ in, who was more of a half-court natural scorer. It completely changed our team, when he went out, because DJ was probably playing about 18 minutes a game, Dushan 22. And then we had to figure out how do we adjust, and DJ ended up playing a lot more minutes than we would like. The biggest adjustment is, even though unfortunately DJ got in foul trouble at Clemson, it did allow E.B. Dewana to have a chance to play a little bit, few more minutes. And if we can get him playing 10 to 15 minutes and playing more of the Ducharme or Horshik role, I think that'll help us. But it completely changed our team. because we thought we had it figured out. We had two guys that were completely different. We played a different way when both of them were in the game, and now it's changing. So I need Ernest Ross, I need EB DeWan, and those guys to step up and play the role of Dushan.
What about as far as what you described as a guy you don't have to run sets for, that's almost like creates opportunity through energy? Do you think you guys have been able? That's something that's not an X's and O's thing.
Oh, no.
Is that something you think you guys can find a replacement for beyond just the skill set?
Yeah, that, and I say this all the time, that is a skill. A guy that can play and just can rebound the basketball. We're going to rely on EB, and he and I talked. He started, I think, 27 games last year, and he got to the point where he just played hard. And we want to get him to play that role. It is hard to get that role in today's time because everybody's thinking more about scoring the basketball. When you look at Dushan, he's a throwback. He's an older guy, doesn't need the basketball to be successful. And if we can get a guy like EB to play that role, I think it'll help our team.
Do you need more out of Jack Clark?
I don't.
He has more to give.
Yeah, I don't think it's more. I think what happened with Jack is we all, including myself, we all went into the season thinking he was going to shoot 40% from three. I mean, and that's unrealistic when you look at, his career and the way he shot three-pointers and his percentage. I would say he's doing everything we want him to do. He's leading us in rebounding. He's getting out and getting steals. He's playing hard. We wish he was shooting it a little bit better, but I think, Chip, maybe that'll come later on in the year. But right now, I'm getting everything that I need from him until the shots start going behind the three-point line.
With Flavian, I know you give him the green light and a lot of freedom offensively. Do you have to dial him back at times during games if he misses 5 or 6 in a row?
Man, I don't dial that kid back. He and I have talked about what's a good shot for him and what we need for the team. And, I think you look at the Clemson game, for example, and I know that's what we're touching on, Chip. I don't think he had played well against Clemson. I know he hadn't, as we all know. And I think it was one of those games where I'm going to figure out how to play well. And so for the most part, I think he's had an incredible year. His assists are 2-to-1 to turnovers, and he's really playing good basketball. I hope we can just remove that game where he took 21 shots and 5 for 21. But I think it was more who he was playing against opposed to him trying to be selfish.
Coach, heading into your 7th match, the team at PNC has won 4 of their last 6, and it seems like this year the lucky number seems to be 70 points to get a win. What is your confidence level, and what is the team's confidence level heading into this game?
I think we're in a good headspace. Our guys have worked the last couple of days, and obviously these are ACC games. It's a home opportunity. I said this to someone the other day. It's a little different than when I coached 4 or 5 years ago. We're playing 31 games. Obviously, we were doing something similar then, but every team has a quad attached to it. And so, we used to always say, if you go 500 in the ACC, it's a lot to get in the tournament. You look at that, I think Wake Forest won 13 games, it didn't happen. Now it's about quad opportunities. And, we have a good Duke team coming in that I think will be a quad 1 opportunity. And so I think our guys are looking forward to that and embracing the opportunity of playing an ACC team at home with a quad 1 opportunity.
Is there any area of your team in their game right now where you feel like they're ahead of the curve going into this part of the schedule, the January part of the schedule, anything that, you did expect them to already be accomplishing through the first 2 months of the season?
No, I wouldn't say. I think we're playing good basketball. I looked at on December the 22nd after we won the Louisville game that, we were one of those teams that was fortunate enough to have 11 wins going into Christmas break, and it wasn't many teams in the country that way. We had played, at that point, we'd played 14 games, and we were 11-3. And so I think we have done some really good stuff. And now it's time to, obviously, we're concentrating on all conference games now. You're locked into opponents that and opponents that know you pretty well. But as far as we are ahead of the curve, I like the way our guys have played so far, especially when you add a lot of new pieces with Jarkel, with DJ Burns, with Deshaun, and also who did I forget? Jack Clark. And so I think, I think we're playing decent. I think we're like every team. There's a lot of things that we can improve on. But I got to be honest with you, I'm really happy with our guys where we at now. Would I like to have a different ACC record? But it's a long year. You think about this, we have 16 games left. And, we figured out right now how to get to 11 right now. And now we just got to kind of build on the ACC schedule.
Kevin, it's been 5 years now since Ty Solomon from South Carolina State had that scary event in the PNC floor. How much of the memories of that come rushing back at all whenever you saw or heard what happened with Kamar Hamlin last night?
Tough, emotional. It was, at certain times in sports, it becomes bigger than the sport that's going on right there on the field or on the court. And my prayers, I prayed. I got on my knees because, I experienced that firsthand with the young man from South Carolina State, and it's tough as a coach, as a player, as a family member, as anybody involved. And at that moment, you don't care about anything but the safety of the player. And the football and the basketball stuff, it doesn't matter at that moment because, you just want to make sure that he's okay. And so that was a tough moment for me.
Do you recall how the first responders responded? Do you recall how that was, how that went?
When we were here,
Yes.
our first responders here were great. I mean, they did a great job. And I think I even made a comment after that situation that, these are folks that don't get enough credit. And we should be thanking them and praising them for what they do. And I'll take a moment again to say thanks for everyone in the country that is a caregiver and a first responder because, we take a lot of things for granted and we need those folks. So I appreciate everyone.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
I'll have